Hey guys, and welcome to World Football News Network, where I have been invited onto this channel. My name is Lewis Robson. I am part of two YouTube channels, one of which is called Robson Gaming, which is a gaming channel and NUFC channel in ways where I talk about gaming and NUFC videos and also talk of the tunes. So I've been asked on this channel today to discuss my views on the championship, and originally when I got asked if I wanted to come on this channel, I thought I was going to be answering questions about Newcastle United because I'm a big Newcastle fan, but from getting the questions, it seems pretty much every single one discludes Newcastle United and just talks basically overall about the championship. So I did think to myself, do I put some research into this? No, because what's the point in that? I'd just be copying what's being said on the internet, so I'm just going to go with the flow and see how much I know. And on to the first question, where I've got loads of questions on my phone. On to the first question, which is how many teams are on this level. 24 teams actually in this level. Of course, I don't know why there's more than the Premier League. I'm not quite sure why there's more than the Premier League. I think it's basically because just the extended it, just so there's more teams coming up from like the likes of lower league football, and just there's more chances for more teams to be in each league. Obviously the Premier League's more prestigious, it's a bigger league, so there's less teams to be in there, but as you go further down there's more teams because it's more competition, there's more teams that want to go into the Premier League. On to the next question, which is how does promotion work? Of course, promotion works in a simple way. If you're top of the league, you win the title. If you're second in the league, you do get automatic promotion, and then from third, fourth, fifth and sixth you go into this little tournament styled thing where whoever wins the tournament and the playoffs do go through in the third position. So if it will be third, I think it's third versus fourth, fourth versus fifth, something along them lines. It's not certain, but they'll play against each other, third against fourth, fourth against fifth. Winner plays the winner of the other game, and then whoever wins the overall thing goes through. And how many teams get relegated? It's just like the Premier League, 3 teams get relegated. On to the next set of questions, which are based on the rule, and it says, are the rules stricter than in this division than in the Premier League? No, they're not. It's pretty much very similar. There's a different line of officials, of course. The better referees go into the Premier League, so of course the Championship referees, the Football League referees aren't as good, but there's still a high level of quality. But there's no stricter rules. They're all the same. On to the next question: is there a stronger homegrown policy? And literally, I don't know. Like I wouldn't say so. I'd say it's pretty similar to the Premier League. And either way, no one really sticks by it that much. But either way, people do in the Championship tend to use a lot of homegrown players more than what they would in the Premier League because it's less competitive. It's a big chance for you to give your younger players a run for their money. On to the next question, which is, do any teams participate in the rounds of the UEFA Cup? And in brackets Champions League or Europa League? So no, they don't, unless a Championship team does win a cup along the lines of the FA Cup or the Capital One Cup, something along them lines. They will not be in any of these because or unless actually they get relegated the same season and win the Champions League, because you can't get in the Champions League or the Europa League from the Championship by winning it or anything along them lines. The only way you do is from, of course, winning a domestic cup or winning the Premier League or finishing the top 4, top 7, just all sorts of things along them lines. Onto the financial aspect of the Championship. How much TV coverage is there? There's quite a lot actually on Friday nights. There's a lot of there's like a game always on. There's weekend games, there's midweek games. There's not as much as the Premier League, of course. Premier League's a better league, but there is still quite a lot of TV coverage, and I do expect Newcastle to get a lot of TV coverage because we're a big club, and a lot of the Sky will be wanting to show us a lot because a lot of teams will be interested to see how we can do. Is this league a richer league? No. There's a couple of fairly rich teams in. Well, there's Newcastle, which is a fairly rich team, but it's not a richer league. The big money deals don't go through in this league. The big money deals do go through in the Premier League. Of course, this isn't a richer league. We've got some prestigious clubs in the Championship, but it's not a richer league. Is there a league sponsor? Yes, I think, and don't get me wrong, if I'm wrong, just do tell us. I think it's Sky Bet Championship. Of course, that's off the top of my head. I think it is Sky Bet Championship. I think that's the main sponsor. Of course, it's called the Sky Bet Championship, and I would assume that that is the sponsor. Is there a large fan base in England, or is there usually a large amount of empty seats in the stadiums? Well, I know there's not. There's always a lot of capacity in the stadiums. There's a lot of people going to the stadiums. Of course, if you talk about the Premier League, there's not many empty stadiums other than one, which is Sunderland, because they're shit. But basically, in the Championship, I think there's a lot of good supporters. For example, Newcastle are probably going to fill up the stadium every week, and even the away ends, and onto like the away end of other teams. Newcastle will of course fill up the away fans in them stadiums, and of course there's a lot of good clubs in the Championship and a lot of good fan bases in the Championship, and there won't be too many empty seats. I don't think there will be, but overall in England there's just absolutely amazing amounts of support in England. On to the next question, which is, are ticket prices reasonable? What is the average range of price for seats? The ticket prices are lower than the Premier League. They're fairly reasonable. I'm not quite sure because I haven't been to a Championship game other than Newcastle United, so I'm not quite sure on the ticket price average, but they are quite reasonable. They're lower than the Premier League. They do of course range from the how good the stadium actually is. For example, like a lower quality stadium is likely to be less expensive than a bigger stadium, a higher quality stadium. On to the transfer aspect of the questions. What is the record fee for a for a Championship transfer? Sorry, and I think that's actually Matt Ritchie, who Newcastle have just signed this season for 12 million, which is absolutely brilliant. Which just came in the Championship and broke the record. And then what is the average fee range? I'd probably say that's between 1 to 3 million, because there's not too many big transfers. There's usually just little transfers from like the League One or the Championship, or the Championship or the Championship. And on to the teams. How much impact does history have on the Championship division? Not at all, because it doesn't matter how big of a club you are. You're not entitled to do well. Of course, Leeds, one of the biggest clubs in the Championship based on history and just club prestige, and they're not doing too well. Of course, they're not like doing too bad, but they're not just dominating the league. Of course, teams like Derby County, Leeds, etc. The history doesn't have any impact. It has big impact on the fans. It has big impact on the fear that other teams, like how other teams fear them. But other than that, it doesn't have impact on how well they do in the league. Does every team get relegated from the Premier League just get promoted again? No, that's not the case. Not each and every time does someone get relegated and promoted every time. Of course, the likes of Leeds haven't come straight back up. Wigan went down and went down straight away. Blackpool went down and went down straight away. It's not easy to get put straight back up, but if you're a big team, if you're too good for that league but not good enough for the Premier League, like Norwich, you are likely to go down and come straight back up. But teams like Newcastle United, you would expect when they go down to come straight back up. Are Leicester City style stories common, or is they just typically teams that just dominate the big four? No, I don't really know. Leicester City, if you're talking about the Premier League, no, Leicester City type stories aren't common. They like Leicester. That's pretty much like the biggest thing that's ever happened in the Premier League. Teams that usually win the Premier League are Manchester United, Manchester City, and Chelsea, with Arsenal like once or twice, Blackburn once, and shit like that. But no, there's never often stories like this, which is absolutely amazing. But there is a chance of the smaller, well, not the smaller teams, but like other teams win the Premier League. But it always comes down to the bigger teams that win the Premier League. Do teams that get promoted from League One ever stand a chance? Yes, of course they do. The Championship is a strong league, it is a competitive league, but the League One teams always stand a chance. But in fairness, they don't often do too well. Bournemouth did quite well from getting promoted from League One. Leicester did as well, but not often do League One teams ever stand a chance. And on to the player style of things, are there more working class players such as Jamie Vardy stories? Yes, there is more working class players. There is more players developed in strong academies, because of course you're in the Championship, you're in a lower standard league. If you've been relegated, you're likely to give your younger players a chance, and there's just two teams that don't want to spend out for all sorts of players to use their own academy resources to do so. What are the Championship quality of academies? They're quite good as well. Just there's a lot of good academies within the Championship. There's Newcastle, there's Wigan, there's all sorts of stuff like that, and it's still similar to the Premier League, just very good in my opinion. Do the teams have more of an English population, or are they largely foreign, much like the Premier League? I think there are more English population because, again, like I've stated in the previous questions, a lot of the players in the teams have been picked out of the academy or have been previously transferred, because of course you want to give your young guns a chance. You don't want to dip out loads of money for foreign players. Another question: who are some of the stars of the league, and do you think they will move to the EPL or on a transfer soon? And I would probably, without blowing my own team's trumpet, say that a lot of Newcastle players are the stars of the league. Gino Wijnaldum's probably one of the biggest players in the league, and I do see him potentially moving to the EPL soon. Musa Sissoko, due to the fact he had a good Euros, probably will be classed as one of the biggest players in the league. Dwight Gale did good in the league last year. Did good in the Premier League did good in the Championship the last time he was in there. Did good in the Premier League last year. He's probably one of the biggest players in the league. I'm not really too good. Ross McCormack, I don't see moving to EPL soon, but he's one of the biggest players in that league. There's a lot of big players and a lot of big players who could be moving to the Premier League soon. But without further ado, that's the end of the video. Do be sure to subscribe to the two of my channels, my main channel and my second channel, if you have enjoyed this video, and do subscribe to the host of this video. Of course, very good videos on this channel, and drop a like on the video. See you later.